Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's session from Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are at the moment on chapter 7, Knowledge of the Absolute. And as you all know, Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Verse 16. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janah sukritino arjuna arto jigyasur-artharthi jnani cha bharat sharbha. O best among the Bharats, 4 kinds of pious men begin to render devotional service unto me. The distressed, the desirer of wealth, the inquisitive, and one who is searching for knowledge of the Absolute. Verse 17. Tesham jnani nityukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnanino tirthamaham sacha mama priyaha. Of these, the one who is in full knowledge and who is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best, for I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. Verse 18. Udara sarva evate jnani tvatmaevat me matam astitah sa hi yuktatma mamevanuttamam gatihim. All these devotees are undoubtedly magnanimous souls, but he who is situated in knowledge of me I consider to be just like my own self. Being engaged in my transcendental service, he is sure to attain me, the highest and most perfect goal. Verse 19. Bahunam janmanamante jnanvanam mam prapadyate vasudevah sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabah. After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders unto me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul is very rare. Verse 20. Kamestair hrit jnana prapadyante anya devataha tam niyam masthaya prakritya niyata swaya. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. So Krishna is telling us in verse 16 that 4 types of people, they begin to offer devotional service to Krishna. They are the one who are in some kind of distress, some problems, some situations, and the ones who are looking for wealth. Then the third are the one who are curious, who want to know who Lord is, and finally the one who is looking just for the knowledge of the Absolute. So we were reading about the miscreants or the dushkritinah before in verse 16. It was all about dushkritinah, the miscreants. And in this verse it is about the sukritinah. Sukritina are the adherents of the regulative principles. So they are the ones who are obeying the rules and regulations, who have got some moral ethics, and who like to be law abiding, and they are more or less in the devotional service of the Lord. So out of these Sukritinas, there is 4 classes of men, like the shloka has just told us. One's looking for the money, one's looking for relief from the problems, and the ones who are curious, who are just very inquisitive, and finally the ones who are just looking for absolute knowledge about the absolute truth. So people will start their devotional service in one of the 4 circumstances. But still, these 4 types of people won't be classed as the pure devotees, because still they have got something they are looking for. They are attached to some kind of aspiration, as Prabhupada puts it in the purport. So they are doing the devotional service to fulfill some of the something which they are looking for. So in exchange of that, they are doing the devotional service. The Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion, in first canto, first chapter, 11 verse, it defines devotion as, it defines the bhakti as, now this is the bhakti's definition. It is Anya Bilashita Shunyam Jnana Karmadya Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanu Sheelanam Bhaktir Uttama. So it says that the devotional service to the Lord should be rendered without any ulterior motive or without any kind of philosophical speculation or without the desire of any kind of profit or gain through the fruitive activities. So these 4 kind of people who are the adherents, as Prabhupada has called them, who are following the rules and regulations, who are following the, so not regulations, who are following the regulative, you can say the following the regulative principles of the scriptures, are still some kind of selfish, because they are not yet pure. But when these 4 kinds of people come into the association of the pure devotee, they also become pure devotees. And this is how all of us, we start our bhakti. Only a very rare will find somebody who is doing bhakti from the beginning just for the sake of bhakti itself, without any ulterior motives. So one has to transcend these 4 kind of what should we say, 4 kinds of demands of our mind, that we're looking for something from Lord. Then when we transcend this, then we come to the pure bhakti. In verse 17 it is said that Ekar Bhakti Vishishyate. So of all of these Sukritinas, the ones who are adherent or the following the regulative principles, the one who is full of knowledge is always engaged in pure devotional service is the best. Krishna says, for I am very dear to him and he is very dear to me. So these are very important words. Krishna says, person who is doing devotional service just for Krishna and he is full of knowledge in that respect, that person, that devotee is very dear to Krishna and Krishna is very dear to him likewise. Because that person has gone beyond the material desires and he has achieved the stage of pure devotee of the Lord. This can take few lifetimes sometimes. It's not just going to happen in one lifetime to us, that suddenly we will advance in the knowledge of the impersonal Brahman, that is the Brahma Jyoti, then the Paramatma aspect of Bhagwan, which is inside all of us. So slowly, with time, we will advance in our knowledge of impersonal Brahman, the Paramatma, and then eventually we recognize our eternal situation to be the servant of the Lord. If somebody who is in knowledge of all this right at the beginning, that person is also very dear to the Lord. And a person who is devoted to Lord's devotional service, the material contamination cannot touch that person because that person is in the full knowledge of Bhagwan. Verse 18 tells us that of all the devotees described here, the ones who are following the rules, are all magnanimous or all great, but one who is in knowledge of Bhagwan considered that devotee to be just like himself, who is engaged in his devotional service, transcendental service, and that devotee, Bhagwan says, is sure to attain him, the highest and the most perfect goal it is. To attain Lord is the highest goal. In Bhagavatam, 9th canto, 4th chapter, 68th verse, Lord says, Sadhavo hridayam mahyam, sadhunam hridayam tva aham, mad anyat tena jananti, naham tebhyo manag api. The devotees are always in my heart and I am always in their hearts of the devotees. The devotee does not know anything beyond me and I cannot forget the devotee. There is a very intimate relationship between me with the capital M, because Bhagwan is referring to himself, and the pure devotees. Pure devotees in full knowledge are never out of spiritual touch and therefore they are very dear to Bhagwan. Bhagwan says in verse 18. So Bhagwan says that everybody is free, has got the free will to decide what they want to do, how they want to navigate their ship of bhakti, and where do they want to put their faith into. But Bhagwan is always ready. Bhagwan is always ready for us, how we are progressing in our through the modes of goodness, from ignorance to mode of passion to goodness, and finally transcending all these modes and going into pure devotional service. In verse 19, Bhagwan says that after many, many lifetimes, one who is in knowledge, actually in knowledge of Bhagwan, surrenders to Bhagwan, knowing Lord as the cause of all causes and all that is, all the cosmic creation and all the cause of all this creation and everything around us. Who is that? When a person realizes after many lifetimes, such a soul is very rare. So all of us, if we look around, we will find that all of us are either in one or other prominent stage of mode of one of the three modes is prominent in our nature, or we are trying to be in the mode of goodness most of the time and trying to do some devotional service. So one who will achieve the pure devotional service is a very rare soul. All the great saints, you can say, they were all doing the devotional service to Lord, and you can easily tell that that person has had the pure devotional service attitude. This is how they lived their life surrendered to the Lord. In 3rd chapter, verses 14 and 15 of the Shvetash Avatar Upanishad, it says, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasra Rakshasaha Sahasrapat Sa Bhumim Vishvato Vritva Tyatishtad Dashan Gulam Purusha evedam sarvam yad bhutam yach bhavyam uttam rishtvash vas yeshanu yad anenati rohati. And in Chand Upanishad, 5th canto, 1st chapter, 15 verse, it says, Na ve vacho na chakshumshi na shrotrani na manamastya achakshat prana iti eva chakshate prano hya evetani sarvani bhavanti. In the body of a living being, neither the power to speak nor the power to hear or the power to think is the prime factor. It is the life which is the center of all activities. So the matter part of our body is useless. It's only the consciousness inside it, which is Bhagwan himself, the power coming from the Lord, that is which is the center of all the activities. Similarly, Lord Vasudeva, or the personality of Godhead Krishna, is the prime entity in everything. In the body there are powers of speaking, seeing, hearing, mental activities, but these are not important if these activities, the speaking, hearing, seeing and other mental activities we all have got, if they are not related to Bhagwan, then they are not important. This is said in this Upanishad. And so Vasudev or Bhagwan is all pervading in everything, and the devotee surrenders to Bhagwan with this knowledge. Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter 17th and 11th chapter 40 says that, gives that message to us. So the earlier verse which I read from the Shvetavsvatara Upanishad said that a person who has realized Bhagwan can understand that the world is the perverted reflection of the spiritual variegatedness. There is a relationship, that in everything there is a relationship to Lord. So our world is actually upside down, in upside down situation to that of the supreme world of Bhagwan and the supreme Golok Vrindavan in relation to Bhagwan. And when one realizes that only the devotional service is going to make them uncontaminated and pure, the people are able to surrender to the Lord with this kind of spiritual realization. Verse 20 tells us that the devotional service to Lord is for those who are in the mood of goodness. The ones whose intelligence has been stolen by material desire surrender to demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. The ones who want who have got lots of material desires, they will be following the different Devi Devatas, and they think that, oh, especially Lord Shiva gives the results very quickly. We have seen in so many stories of the scriptures, all the demons, they used to worship Lord Shiva for thousands and thousands of years, and they used to get benedictions or the vardhans so quickly, and because that was for their own material enjoyment. And similarly, we see that people in this and day and age in Kali Yuga as well, they want so much material fulfillment. They will be doing so many fasts and following this particular style of worship to please that demigod or the Devi or Devata. But they don't understand that all the powers vested in the demigods are actually coming from the Lord, because Lord is the root, and the root is giving all the nutrition or all the benedictions to the rest of the parts of the trees, whether they are leaves or the branches, twigs, etc. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, fifth chapter, verse 142, it is said, it's in Bengali, written by Kaviraj Goswami on Mahaprabhu. It says, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Ara Sab Bhritya. Translated as, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is master and all others are servants. Therefore, a pure devotee never goes to the demigods for satisfaction of his material needs. Also, a pure devotee will depend upon Supreme Lord, and the pure devotee is satisfied whatever the Lord gives. Because once we become devotee of the Lord, we understand that whatever is best for me, Lord will give me, and we are satisfied in that situation. Now we'll continue from verse 21 onwards of the 7th chapter next time, and it was pleasure to be sharing this session with you all. And happy Dhanteras everyone for today. Today is Dhanteras, and also the first we can say the first entity who came with all the medical knowledge, Dhanvantari, also appeared today, Lord Dhanvantari. Hari Om Tat Sat and Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining.